Hello and welcome to my channel. Well, I'd like to dedicate this video to Glenn. He's one of the commenters, frequent commenters I have on my videos, and he mentioned in my last video about Stoneworks knives that his favorite one is the Barlow. And I realized, man, I've got one of those. So I went to my Stoneworks drawer and pulled it out, and sure enough, I had that. And I thought, well, I've only got like, I've only recently started collecting Barlows. I thought, well, I've only got like a tray full of them. No, I had 3 trays full of Barlows. So I'm just going to show you my whole collection. But this is another Stoneworks knife that I left out of my last video. See, when I do these videos, my complete collection of this or that, I'm trying to get everything that I have in there, but because I wasn't organized or lack of organization, another thing that happens is I classified this as not a Barlow. What are you going to put it in a drawer of? You're going to put it in with all the other Barlows or all the Stoneworks? Well, it kind of stands out. It's pretty unique, so it should be with the it should be in both. How do you keep it in both collections in the same drawer? You can't, because the rest of those other ones are not Stoneworks, so you can't throw any non-Stoneworks in the drawer. Anyway, long story short, this is a very good example of a Rough Rider Stoneworks. That stamp on the bolster here is one of my favorite ones they've got, the horseshoe one. It just ties it in with the whole Teddy Roosevelt, however you want to call it, Rough Riders. And it's got a nice blade on it. It's 440B again. So I'll put in there. I did a thing on AI. I had it search and explain. See, AI, it depends on how you phrase your question, and then also its knowledge database that it's going through to search through. And the thing about AI is it can search through all the forums and all this other stuff. That's what I normally used to do. If I didn't know about a steel, I go to Blade HQ and look at their stuff, and then I go to a bunch of different places and I try to figure out what the consensus was. Well, AI does that for you. You just type it in and you just say, hey, what's the difference between 440A versus 440C? That was the one that I originally started with. And then I thought, well, I might as well make it complete and say, what's the difference between 440B and 440A and C? And it really breaks it down for you. It tells you all, the higher carbon content in 440B allows it to be hardened to a higher Rockwell hardness, and that increases edge retention. But every time you do something, you lose something on steel, so you lose some. If you make something harder and everything, Rockwell hardness, you lose toughness, it becomes a little bit more brittle. But anyway, yeah, this is a very good example. It's very, very nice, very pretty. This has got like a little black void in there, but that's actually part of the shell. Sometimes this is done with not one complete piece, but with segments in there. But look at this, it matches. I mean, it almost matches. Pretty. You got a chunk there and a chunk there on that side. So with natural materials, it all depends on what you get. Sometimes you can get stuff that's really good and done well, and then sometimes it just looks obvious. But this is a good example. So I also have Granddaddy Barlows, and this, like I said, this is one of the things that can happen. It had a nice bomb shield, but you can see the stuff that they use in there. They didn't even do a complete, dab with it. Now maybe the corresponding shield had some more, took a chunk off with it, but I doubt it. I bet it just, you can see where things have been adhered, but boom, you got a chunk there. So what I should do is just remove that glue. I thought of also, you can find something better than aluminum foil, but maybe a little piece of tin or something like that, and use this kind of as a mold, and just make your own. Make your own shield. I mean, if you've got time, which I do. If I've got time on my hand, it's just if I'm motivated to do it. I've done it before with, like I said, aluminum foil, and it looks crinkly. It's not smooth. You can make aluminum foil. You can make aluminum foil smooth. I've probably done that before. You can get that sucker like mirror polish if you just keep polishing it. But something to match that. Anyways, that's one of them. The thing about these is these are one single blade here. This is, I think, their black and blue series. And these, of course, it just says 440. But back then they weren't really. They've only recently started throwing 440B into different versions. Like sometimes they'll sneak in VG10 in there too, and not really emphasize it a lot. They'll put VG10 in the series. And other times they'll put in 440C, 440B. I haven't seen 440C in the Rough Rider stuff, but I haven't been buying a lot of them recently. But Queen, which, Queen City, they use 440C. Here's High Plains. All these series names. This is another series I like because it's got this little scallop, and it does kind of look like a mesa, going up there. What is this guy's number? RR2. I gotta get up close and see this. 2046. Bam. But yeah, these are nice big long blades. Over 3.5. It's like 3 3/4 almost. 3 5/8 cutting edge. Really 3 1/4 if you count the slope up there. But yeah, nice big pocket pull. And then of course this is a saber. They made them in bone, then they made them in Delrin, and I got the bone one because the first, you get the 2-digit number ones. Those were bone. You get the 3-digit, a lot of those were, plastic. Delrin one. Here. Like this. This is Sabre Ireland. Doesn't have a number on it. But yeah, you can just hear them. That's not really what matters, a lot of times these are just like work knives. This one, of course, you drop it, you're going to get more cracks and stuff like this. It's plastic. It's not going to really hurt it that much. So that's why a lot of people wouldn't go with the more expensive stuff if it started getting more expensive. Or manufacturers just said, why are we doing this? Why are we spending so much money working with bone when we could be working with plastic? And that's how a lot of that happens. And let's see, while we're doing the big ones, we've done that one. Let's go ahead and get this guy. This is the ram's horn bone. Nicely done. I mean, I like that. It's scalloped. I like the way it's done, the way the colors are and everything. This is a little bit darker, but even this light side looks good. I mean, it looks good both ways. This looks more like it's starting to look like wood and stuff. And this looks, it could look like wood, I don't know. But those scallops turn into like little finger grooves, finger purchases. But yeah, another good one. 1595. Walk and talk. All right, now I can't, fiddle around with, each and every one of them, but a lot of the novelty knives, these are the Barlow girls. I have the complete collection. At one time, this one, the little masked one, snuck off and was hiding, and I actually bought another one, and then I found her, and the one that I bought I had kept in its plastic so she couldn't escape. I kept it in its clamshell plastic. And I used that in a giveaway. I went ahead and gave that one away. But, yeah, these are interesting. Because, again, it's something that, especially the Novelty Knife Company ones, were really inexpensive. You know, like $5 or so. What is this one? NV316. But I got one of them, and it has a nice little... I didn't keep the... I had the backing for a long time, but I don't know where I put it when I moved everything. But it has a picture of a Lancaster bomber and everything on there. Alright, this is a marbles one with the etched bone, you know. It's just one of their kind of like anniversary type of knives. It says marbles, quality knives. You know, match strike pulls. And then a pin blade. I was not, when I was a kid, I didn't even see a Barlow growing up. Anybody using one? Any advertisements or anything? I wasn't in the Boy Scouts or anything, so I didn't see any of that stuff. But I didn't even see them. And then later on, like about a year or so ago, I mean like 2 or 3 years ago, I started getting into the novelty ones, and I started getting into these. These have little puzzles, little ball bearings. This one's stuck in there. This ball bearing is stuck. You know, you fix that. But that's a Zorro one. Each, you know, the covers tell you something. This was cracked, but you know, another Zorro. This one doesn't have a little game on it or anything. It has a Zorro edge, and then 100th anniversary. Is he that old? He's that old, still riding around? Come on, man, getting retirement. You're gonna break a hip, Zorro. 100 years old. You need to be enjoying your life. Gene Autry. Here's another one of those. There. Yeah, so you got these little 3 balls, and you just, you got one, and then you fiddle around like that with it. So it gives you something to do. It'd be nice if it had more balls, or if it was shaped like a, I remember when I was a kid, those were like baseball diamonds, and you would try to get them all in there. Something like that. Alright, this is a nice marbles one, I believe, but it's fluted bone. And this one I got on the Blade something when they were going out of business. They had their sale. This one's in. I need to polish this. This is tarnished. Put some Brasso on it. It's been sitting in something. And then this one is, what was that? You know, it looks like paint spackle and everything, but it's some kind of shell. What number is he? Or even no, do we even get a number? No, I don't think so. Nope, I don't see a number anywhere on here. But it has the script Rough Rider, and then the anvil. When you see those, you know it's old. And then here's that same shield that they brought back. Tested sharp. This is a fat little one here. It's in the hand fatly. This one here is the one I did the experiment, you know, because at the time they just kept putting RT, RT, RT on everything, and I just got tired of it. So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to grind that off. I got enough bolster here. I'm going to grind that RT off. And I ground one side off, and I thought, ooh, this is nice. It's a little thumb depression right here. So I ground the other side off to kind of, you know, make it symmetrical. And that's what I found from that. In the process of trying to get rid of some crap like this on there, you know, which to me ruined the bolster, you know, appearance. This one, yeah, because I was just doing it for function and not appearance. Well, also appearance. I want to get rid of that appearance. You know, I learned something from that, which is, wow, this is cool. I like this. It's a natural indentation for you to hold it. It just feels much more comfortable. It's better than this little pinch part right here, which is just for looks and everything. This one actually adds to retention and comfort and everything else. So that was pretty cool to figure that out. That's the last time I did. I didn't do it to all the rest of them. I didn't go like, all right, now it's your turn. Because if you do that, see, there's not a stripe here, and it just really throws it off. They should have just had this and this. Because why? You don't need to throw this on there. If it's good, it's good. But I know they're just going from originally a lot of this was the Colt line, so there would be a big C, and they just thought, this is supposed to be an R, but doesn't that look like an RT? I call it Robert Townsend. I think Thrifty called it rectal thermometer, which is like, nobody likes it. Why is it on there? Well, actually, some people do like it. It did like it. And now, because they're not doing it on the ones anymore, it helps identify them too. Like, oh, this is, one of the, most of them were the older models like that. All right, where are we going? All right, here's another one. With, again, the horseshoe stamp and the Chevrolet emblem here. It actually has retained its shield. And then here's a mirror stamp on there. I thought that mirror stamp was not on the older ones, but I might be wrong, because this is 201. But yeah, there's a whole big history with Rough Rider. There's also a database that used to go from the beginning, like 94, and the only problem was it was an Excel spreadsheet. It was a copy of one. It wasn't an active Excel spreadsheet, so you couldn't modify it. And the way it was ordered was by, not by number. So there's a way to order it. That's why a lot of times, if you're gonna write down, if you're gonna have a, let's say, 1,000 of something, up to 4 digits, start off with 00, 3 zeros, and then a 1. And you're doing this because computers are stupid a lot of times. If you just put 1 down there, if you go to search for 1, it's going to find 1, and it's going to find 10, and it's going to find 100, and it's going to find 11, and it's going to throw all that crap in there in some kind of computer order, but it's not the one you wanted. So that's the only thing about that one was, if you wanted to find a specific series, sometimes I think the way it was ordered was by series and stuff, so the model numbers somewhat matched up. That helped, but the problem was it only went up a certain range and then it stopped. It stopped doing it, I think, in 2019 or 2020 or something like that. But it's good because then it lists all the different models that they had, and whether or not they don't always kick out a Barlow, with them. This is another Ram's. This is actually Ram right here. Ram's horn. Yeah, this is not Ram's horn bone. This is actually Ram's horn. But see how good that looks? It's just smooth. It's on the end. I mean, to me, that you don't need something. If you're gonna do something, throw this on there, or even a Barlow. Even though that kind of look, hey, it's symmetrical. It's on both sides. This one, it doesn't have to be symmetrical, so you can figure out, which is your opening side. And this is why they changed them to where, all right, they moved the main blade up on this side, and then the pin blade they threw on this side, and they've switched the nail nicks, because really, you gotta, I don't have much nails, but you gotta get down in there like that, and then just go all the way down there where you got enough room to actually get a nail in. And you can do it, but a lot of that is obscured by the other blade. So anyway, but that was the, traditional way of doing it. See, these sit higher. These nail nicks are actually accessible, and this other one doesn't get in the way. I think that's the way it should have been done, but oh well. And then this one is a carbon 4th generation. I believe I won this one on a giveaway. It's a Bear and Son Carbon Steel USA. Yeah, just a nice little emblem there, nice Barlow. And then, of course, this one's just white bone. Yeah, what? Get a number. Do you have a number? Like I said, a lot of these earlier ones, that's why it's better to etch something in either with a laser or have it stamped in. And with covers, it's better to have them pinned than glued. And shields, I prefer sometimes it not to have a shield. It's just if it's done well, this one's all right. I mean, this one's done well. I don't mind that. But a lot of times, it's just been better left smooth. But you see, you got to throw something in there. And as far as like pinched bolsters and all that, to me, it doesn't make that big of a difference. I mean, rounded off works for me just as much as pinched. These are nice, the fluted ones. The only issue with bone and everything is, again, it's not going to be as durable for dropping. And it same way with, I believe, horn. I haven't seen a horn crack as much. Maybe the way it's made. I'm pretty sure it can. These also, here, this is more like a special occasion, but nice looking, because it weighs a little bit more, and you drop it and you hit right here, it's gonna chip. I mean, even synthetic, it'll probably chip, but who knows? You're just taking that chance where you could just carry one of the Barlow girls. They like to get out once in a while and see the town. They don't like to be cooped up. They want to see the guys too. They're stuck in there a lot of times, and it's just all the girls chatting, and they just, go crazy. They want to get out and, see what Zorro's up to. Yeah, anyways, there you go. And this is the old-timer Charade, Charade has their Barlow. So it's not like America didn't make Barlows or anything. It's just, it depends when you grow up, beyond kitchen knives, what your parents were into as far as like knives, and what you got into as far as like activities. If you got into scouting, then you would probably be exposed to a lot more of this stuff, But if you just grew up, oh yeah, let me show you these guys. These are the Barlows that got me, the little tiny Barlows, because, I mean, up close it looks like a Barlow. I mean, it looks a little thin. Now I know, kind of judge by the distance and look at the nail nicks and everything, and you can see there's no belly to this thing, but I mean, it's a Rough Rider. It's in script down there. Rough Rider. Sorry, I was just looking at it off camera here, and then there's another little. I mean, these are little tiny things. And then here's one in white. Of course, I had to get them, as a set. At the same time, I bought two of them. I thought, wow, I'm getting two of these. Get two Barlows for this price. Because again, no reference. It's long. I mean, but there's not much to it. And you think 2.5 inch? Small Barlow. Yeah, it's a small Barlow, all right. Anyway, there you go. Again, this is why I like having people comment and everything, because I would have forgotten that I even had this thing until a lot later. And then I said, man, I just made that video about my Stoneworks collection. And I had made put all this plastic stuff up together so it would be easier to find stuff. But again, like I said, where did you file it? You know, unless you look through every single drawer, you could have had it. Is it with the Barlows or is it with the Stoneworks? In this case, I'm going to put it back with the Stoneworks. We have a video reference of, I believe, most of all the Barlows. It's the only one I haven't shown. This is an assisted opening Barlow. Wow. With a sheep's foot. Schmidt & Wesson. Liner lock with a little clip. We'll see that again. Pretty good, you know. Locks. Got a nice usable blade. And a pocket clip. How dare you have a pocket clip on a traditional knife? Hey, talk to Smith & Wesson about that. Don't talk to me. I didn't design it. But I think it's different. It's unique. So there you go. I will add more to my Barlow collection, and I had more than I thought. And I might find more later on. So this is as far as I know. Like one of those. Anything illegal in the vehicle? Nothing that I know of. What do you mean, nothing you know of? Well, it could be. And I don't know about it. There could be something in there. Could be one of these guys hiding somewhere. Anyways, there you go. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.